Greetings, everyone. I'm Luke Bryan Smith, and welcome to Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved. Hope everybody's doing well. Wait, I believe everybody's doing well. I have faith everybody's doing well, and everything is unfolding perfectly. Yes, I'm excited yet again because I have Derika, right?
Mm-hmm.
Faamausili. I wanted to say that right. But before she tells you anything, I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. So, Derika is a clinical hypnotherapist, behavioral therapist, and mindset transformation coach, the creator of Relax, Release, and Reprogram, which is a transformational self-help hypnosis technology, and founder of Wholesome Hypnotherapy. Since 2011, she's taken her specialized mindset methods to people all over the world by helping them release limiting paradigms and reprogram their mind to manifest the happy lives they deserve. Her mission: to show everyone how to overcome anything, manifest everything. Wow, straight to the point, and I love it. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing good.
Right. Thank you. And I just want to extend my sincerest gratitude to you because I'm a firm believer that time is one of our most precious assets. And for you to spend some of your precious time here with me, I am so thankful and full of gratitude and humbled by that.
Thank you. And I feel the exact same way for you, Luke, as well. And I'm honored that you invited me to be on your platform. And thank you everyone who's watching, because your time is just as valuable, like Luke said. So we honor you and we thank you for being here as well.
Right. Yes. And everything is unfolding perfectly. So let's just get right into it. As I said prior to this segment, you know what? I'm going to start this off by referencing back to your amazing bio here. Clinical hypnotherapist, behavioral hypnotherapist, mindset transformational coach.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's just start there. How did this unfold? How did you become a clinical hypnotherapist? Where did that stimulate from? In a behavioral therapist, mindset transformational coach? We'll just stop there. Those three things. How did you even start to gear in that direction?
Yeah, that's such a good question. So I'm definitely going to dive into a bit of my story and talk about that past a bit of what led me to that, that grueling moment of, how we all search for the answers, right? And we're all on, I was on Google in the middle of the night, searching for answers. How do I solve these problems in my life? And that's when
let me put you on pause right then and there. And please do, I am not trying to disrupt you, but I just have to elaborate and interject. That I never get tired of, because I hear that a lot, and that was me. You hit a point in life where you're searching for answers and you're looking within, and then it just, go ahead.
Woo, yes. Those are those pivot moments. I'm going to definitely get into some of those big pivot moments. So let me first start off by saying this, because I think, the past is the past. I'm going to talk a little bit about what led me here, but let's put everything in perspective. The past is the past, and the past has nothing to do with our future. I like to start out with that, because that chapter is closed, baby.
Closed.
And we get to move forward, right? So, but what happened is that, like all of us, I feel like everybody has a story and everybody has contrast, right? So I was born to a single mother. She was on welfare. We were raised in the ghettos, in the low poverty, low income areas of what you can afford, right? So in those areas, you see struggle, you see hardships, you see things in that realm that, let's say, other areas don't, right? So the struggles of just getting into street fights once a week, the drugs, the gangs, the violence. I was involved in home invasions, robberies, stealing, probation. When you go through this kind of stuff, when that's what you see, right? So it was a lot of times we had to get food from the food banks, right? Your food stamps didn't last that long. So we found ourselves, always in the food bank lines. We found ourselves shopping at thrift stores. not because it was eco-friendly, but that's because that's what you can afford, right?
Right.
You know, you see things like the such poverty where, you know, your lights get cut off, where you don't have hot water. And that sucks in the winter, by the way, right? So you're you go through certain things. And that was my upbringing. I saw hardships. I saw struggle. I saw murders 1 inch from my face. That was a big pivot point that I'm going to get to, you guys. But you know, most people that you grow up with, they're either going to go to prison or, you know, they're either going to go to jail or they're going to go to the grave.
Right.
That's what, you know, you would usually see, right? When you're in that kind of struggle. I'm just trying to paint a picture, not for anyone to feel bad for me, but to show you kind of what my upbringing was like.
Right.
And I say this because that was my programming. What we are our environment. Right. So
exactly.
I was brought up to it being money. Money was not enough to go around. It was a struggle. You know, don't ask for anything because we don't have enough to get it. Right. There was happiness. I thought was a Disney. Lou, I thought happiness was out of a Disney movie. That made no sense to me. You know, abundance and just love. What was love? You know, love back then was like, all right, we love you today. We fight tomorrow. They cheat on you the next day and you're heartbroken and you move on. Wow. That's what love was, right? That's what I seen my mom going through, my siblings. And of course, that's what my patterns was. And so I'm saying this because what you see, you become. So I grew up doing the thrift store shopping when I got old enough. You know, I started repeating all the same things that I seen. Right. And when I said I saw a murder 1 inch from my face, I was about 17 years old when that happened. Right. And that was one of those big moments, Luke, where I heard this very clear. It was an energy that I could hear. I could hear say, if you don't change, you're not going to make it. And I knew in that moment, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to die. I didn't want to go to prison. Right? I didn't want to repeat that pattern. I didn't want to struggle anymore. I didn't want to hurt anymore. So that was one of those big moments in my life. And I'm sure everyone watching right now, you've had those moments, right? You've had that.
And again, you know, I always say there is no coincidences. And I just have to say this, and I don't want to disrupt your flow. Please hold on to that and continue on. But I just have to say this. It's just amazing how you and I, we haven't had any interaction yet. We were on each other's friends list. I think I reached out to you on Facebook and asked you to be on the show. And I didn't know why. I just basically looked and I think I glanced over your profile and I thought, okay, from what I've read, okay, she would be a great candidate. But for you to describe thus far how your life was, it's a mirror exactly of what I went through. Grew up with my mom in poverty, repeated a lot of things. I mean, to fast forward, and I'm not taking away from your story at all. I'm just saying, it's just, good. Wow. Just what you're laying out there. It's crazy, just right? Made me just picture exactly the same moments, you know, government cheese back then, just all kinds of stuff. And, you know, and not having enough. And, you know, we had roach infestations at the house crawling on us when we're trying to sleep and just all kinds of things. And it's just, wow, just, there was pivotal moments as well that I knew that if I did not change, you know, not only my environment, but the environment up here, that it wasn't going to end well. And wow. So go ahead. I just had to let you know that I really resonate, especially how your life started.
Luke, that's so good. Like, I love that you felt that, because it's many of us. Like, you know, I used to think this is like, no one's like understands me. Like, no one gets the struggle. And like, who do I talk to and like all of that. But as I started to come out with this and help so many folks, I'm like, damn, everybody has these stories. Like, it's like, we are not alone. Like, everybody has maybe different flavors, right? Like maybe you didn't see murders or you didn't experience prison time or, you know, things like that, but you had some shit. Like, I'm gonna be very real on here. We've had some very, you know, we all had challenging moments that were designed to awaken us. Really,
and we didn't know it at the time, though.
We had no idea at the time. You know, it was like, it's a hard not life. Like, that's how it was, you know, growing up. And it's not until you have that big moment where something really shakes you up and you're like, I've got to do something, right? It's like, this can't continue on. And
see, that's the fork in the road where oftentimes, I don't want to say oftentimes, but there are certain people that don't choose to wake up. They keep going down that dark road, and then that's where your life, you know. So
and, you know, and good. I think that's what it's perfect, because we all get forks in the road through all these experiences, right? There was many I took the left turn. There was many where it didn't quite click. I wasn't quite ready. Right. Yep. And then when you finally get ready enough, because you know there's that come to Jesus kind of moment where you're like, enough is enough. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. You make a decision. So that's what I want to follow through on right now, and just extend to your community, because I know they're so bright because they're following you. It all starts with the firm decision, right, Lou? It's that firm decision. You don't know how. I didn't know how I was going to get out of the hood. I had no silver spoon handed to me. I had nobody I could turn to, no friend, nothing. Right. So I was like, what changed? What has changed? You know, I barely went to high school. I had no idea. And so, but when we make that decision, the teacher appears, the next step appears. Right. Exactly. That's that moment. Right. So it's beautiful that we have these depths of despair moments where we kind of fall flat and we have nowhere else to go but up. It's like you make that firm decision. And that was one of the decisions in my life where I said, all right, I don't know what to do, but I'm going to listen, and you'll start to get subtle ideas after you make a firm decision, right?
You basically get out your own way. You start listening to that intuition, you call it whatever, the universe, God, you start listening to that. And oftentimes we do get those, but what happens is we ignore it because we're not, like you said, we're not ready, or some people never get ready. And we have to be thankful that we got to a point where we were able to be aware and yes,
you know it. You know, and it's so good. And I'm just channeling, you know, those that are watching right now, you know that there's so much greatness inside of you. And it's the point where, you know, you're maybe in some suffering right now, but you're not giving up. It's like you wake up every day and you keep going, you keep getting dressed, you keep putting the clothes on, like you keep heading out that door. And it's just a matter of time before you make a bigger decision in your life. And that's really what you open up to, right? That bigger decision. Like I knew I wanted to buy a house because I was tired of being evicted. I was tired of in that knock on the door and everybody's running, don't answer it because it's the owner with the eviction notice. Yes. And I was tired of motel living. I was tired of just not having a place, like staying in, you know, we would stay in friends' garages. And it was like, that thing was not okay with me, right? It was like, this is what I don't want. So I made a decision on what I do want. And I want you guys to hear that.
Again, I have to put a pause. That's it. When you make that decision and you set that intention. And another important thing you said, don't think I'm listening to everything you're saying. You don't have to know all the steps. They'll just set that intention and know what you want and start leaning in that direction of what you want, or your higher self, or whatever, something better than where you are, instead of just devoting yourself into that misery and following that and then adjusting and accepting that. No, you decided not to accept that anymore. So therefore there was a shift somewhere and things start opening up in that way.
things will start opening up, you guys. And it's just like that. When you decide, I don't want to deal with this kind of man anymore, or woman anymore, or job anymore. Like, you literally have to go in that crap. And only through experiencing that, like if you're at a buffet, when you eat something, you're like, I don't like this anymore, right? So you have to go through that. But that firm decision, that pivot point is when you say, I don't want this, I want this. And when you say you want that, oh boy, the universe is moving mountains, right? You are about to be dropped ideas and clarities. Be ready to follow the next step.
Right.
And that's the journey of life. It's like I still find things I don't want, and I go, boom, I want that. Right. That's what it's for. We just can't get too caught up on the don't wants. Right?
There it is. Don't give too much energy, or any energy if you can, on the don't wants. Oftentimes we're focused too much on what we don't want versus focusing on what we do want.
Yes. Right. Yes. So if we can slowly start to pivot more on just acknowledging what's there and saying, all right, I'm going to focus on this. So I started focusing on, I wanted to buy a house, right? I want to buy a house. I want to buy a house. And so you'll start getting an idea like, okay, well, at the time was a penny saver. You remember those penny savers?
Right.
Those little magazines, right? They used to come in. And I was like, there was a little ad that said, no money, no credit, something like that, buy a house. And I was like, oh, that's me, right? So I called the number on there, and, I'll never forget this. Like I was working at McDonald's at the time, right? I was like super young, 17 years old. And she laughed at me, Luke. She laughed at me and was like, you got to be 18, you got to have enough money, all this stuff, right?
Right.
And I was like, okay, that was my next breadcrumb. So listen up, you guys. It's like, you go as far as you can see, and then you'll see further. Don't give up, just keep going. So I got laughed at on that call, but I was like, fuck it. I got clarity. I need to know now. I got to wait till I'm 18, and I need to make this much money. See, now I had more clarity, right?
Right. It opened up something. So
opened up.
You started some wheels in motion. You started something in motion, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
There you go.
And so you got the momentum going, you're going. I mean, by the time I was 20 years old, I bought my first property. I am the first person that bought a house, got married, had kids by the same man. I'm the first person to go to college. In my family.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And it was like, but I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm falling forward. It's just, you gotta fail forward. You know what I'm saying?
Fail forward. I like that.
Just fail forward, you guys, that's how we find our way. So then, going back to like how I became who I am is that even though I have bought the house, I manifested my soulmate, all by making a firm decision, you guys. I made a firm decision that I didn't want to be with crappy guys that didn't know how to love, that just hurt you and manipulated you. So I turned my back on that and decided I wanted this, which was pure faith, loving, honest love, growth. And I manifested all this, right? I started manifesting beautiful things, but I wasn't happy, Luke.
Right.
And that's when I'm like 3 a.m. Y'all know what I'm talking about. 3 a.m. on the internet, on Google, searching for this, like trying to figure out the answers of, okay, like
what's missing? What's going on?
What's missing?
Where's my inner peace? How do I connect with it? Right.
Yes. How do I get this inner peace? How do I let go of all the baggage I had gone through? How do I get these thoughts?
That is right there traumatic. What we go through it can be quite difficult to get to shed those traumas. It is. And I would be lying if I said it isn't. It's constant work. Even now, I still work on overcoming old programming that sometimes tries to creep back in there and pull me back to what I'm used to doing or thinking or whatever. And it takes work, but it's worth it. But it's worth it. Go ahead.
Heck yeah, it's work. And I love that. No, because you call it out. It's real. Change is challenging, and it's not for the weak. I tell you what, enlightenment is not for the weak. You gotta have some strength about you, because you've got to go through what's being revealed to you. There is paradigms and programming, which is beliefs that are going to be shown to you that was inherited, like your mom, her passed down, right?
Did the best they could under their level of consciousness, but nonetheless, it's damaging and it doesn't serve you. 100%. I understand and totally get it. And like you said, enlightenment, self-empowerment, change, transformation is not for the weak. You'll go through things. Here, this is how I'll explain it. And I'm elaborating on what you said because I resonate with it. And I know, I don't know everything, but I know this, what you just talked about. I'm familiar with it. Especially when you're starting out, and just even now, there's certain programs that your body is, your mind and everything is used to. So when you're changing that, your mind is like, wait, hold on. You're shaking it up. You're shocking it. So
yeah,
you're going to feel that, you know?
You are.
Yeah. Cause even within like toxic way of thinking and toxic situations, you become accustomed to that. And just like how you can become accustomed to being sad or angry, even though it's uncomfortable, you're comfortable within that discomfort. So when you go to change out of that, you're going to shake up some things inside of you, inside of your spirit, your mind, your energy. You're going to shake it up when you start working on higher ideas, because what's going on is your whole system is saying, what is this? You know, you think like this. You don't think like that.
Yeah.
This is what your formative years, your programming has been. And this is where we're comfortable right here. So when you start moving out of that, it takes work. Otherwise, and I'll say it, you've heard this saying before, if it was easy, everyone would do it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Everybody would be enlightened and at peace, right?
Yes.
If it was easy. If it was easy, everybody would be happy and at peace. And you would see it.
Yeah.
You can tell, and I'm getting into it, and I don't want to take away, but you can tell how people aren't at peace, because people are quick to want to react with ego and anger. Even out on the street, you cut somebody off. If people are at peace, you would see it. You would see the reaction.
Yeah.
You know, even looks on people's faces when you pass them by in the store, you see people, they're not at peace. So go ahead. So, it takes work.
You're absolutely right. It takes work. And, you know, there's reasons why it is so hard. And I can get into that part of the brain that really wants to keep you safe. It wants to compute the data that it has. It's all survival. And it really wants to just give you what it knows. And so going into the fear of the unknown gets most people, because your brain cannot compute where you're about to go. And so I'm gonna do whatever possible to keep you here, because we know here. And so we have to be definitely strong enough to get past that and take the leap of faith. But it was like trying to figure out, we're all trying to figure out, okay, how do I be that bigger, better person I want to be? How do I have that internal peace and happiness? And how do I forgive? And how do I really move forward and all of those things? So that's how I got into the realm of hypnotherapy and mindset coaching, because I knew that there was no external thing. The tactics out here, the methods out here, just the talking, this doesn't work. I knew that I needed to get into the motherboard, and that's the subconscious mind, right? I had to go down to the motherboard. It was like, whatever is in here is your output, you know, input, output. So it was getting down to there. So it was that aha moment again. I found it on the internet, and I just went, I didn't second guess this. It was that whole, you know, that thing when something comes up, you see it, you're like, that's it. Like there's no processing.
It speaks to you.
It took me. It took me. And that's what it was since 2009 when I made that decision, and now transformed my life. I mean, I can't tell you how much peace I have and how much I'm really happy every single day. I'm working on baby number 5.
Wow.
I have many homes now, many luxury cars. I've traveled the world. I mean, I have all the 6 figures and the multiple companies, right? I mean, but I have just abundance rolling in so many areas of my life. And the biggest one is
another one. Let me pause.
Yeah.
That's when I write down my gratitude in the morning and the evening. You said something that's right out of what I say. I am thankful for abundance in all areas of my life. I'm thankful for wealth in all areas. So, you know, my old mindset would have been thinking about just wealth in one area. And you know what that is, just money. But that's not necessarily going to be the thing that is going to give you sustained happiness.
No,
because there's a lot of people with wealth that still haven't connected with their soul, and there's something missing. So they're looking for it in other ways, whether overindulging in drugs, alcohol, sex, chasing women, or buying this thing to but it's fleeting. So
what's crazy is that the more money you make, the more the more coping mechanisms you have. So like the people that make the more money, that are still searching for more money and get the money, believe me, they're doing a lot more of the addictions that they don't want.
Right.
And they're actually the most unhappy. Any time that we're searching for something outside of us to make us happy, we're digging ourselves a foxhole. We're really digging ourselves this grave, because it ain't none of that. Like I told you, I had the house, I had the car, I had the man that were all brilliant, but it was me. It was me.
Right.
It was
you
my
have to
program.
find that. Right. Because
I
can add to what you just said. There's people out there with an abundance of monetary, financial. They just have more ways to distract you. When you're looking into their life and you think, oh, well, they have it all. No, they have little things and toys and more things to distract you from how they really feel. And they have to keep this up, to distract you. So when you see people always showing off everything, there's something to that. Not saying you can't be proud of what you have and don't want to and show, but what I've learned, I've affiliated with that, when there's people that just constantly have to keep showing you and showing you, unless it's for a purpose to just motivate you. Yeah. They're just showing you just to say, hey, look what I got. It's usually something to that they're keep distracting you from. And that's boils down to their own true
insecurities.
And true happiness that isn't there, and true peace. Do you have peace? I talked to a friend the other day, and he said, it just reminded me of what you said. He said, yeah, I got this job. And I said, how are you doing? That's how it started. He said, yeah, I got this job and it's paying all this money. I said, oh, that's great. I said, I'm thankful for that. I said, that's good. I said, but how are you doing? I said, how is everything up here? How are you physically? Is your health okay? And then he kind of like paused and looked at me, and it's like, I kind of threw him for a loop just from that question. Like, really, I do. I'm happy for you, your accomplishment, but I want to know, basically, are you really happy? Are you happy? Not forget the job, but are you happy? I
think this is so good for everyone to hear, because for a long part of my life, I seeked those things. I really searched for those external things, thinking it would bring me happiness. And I know a lot of people watching are the same thing. We think if we only had that man, if we only had that job, if we only had these things, that would fix everything. And what you find out is that it's not those things. It's you take you everywhere you go. You got to fix you. You know, there's things inside you got to fix. And so,
and if that's not fixed, it doesn't matter what you have.
No,
what you just described right there, I like to call destination happiness. You've made your happiness a destination, and it's right here. It's not over there. It's not with that man. It's not with that new car. It's not with that house. Those things can enhance your life. They can. And they can make your life a lot more comfortable.
Easier.
But at the same time, they're not going to bring you true happiness. They're not.
No.
There are people that don't have anything that are super happy.
Yes.
But that's the way they're programmed. You go to some guru in India who doesn't have anything, but yet he doesn't have any high blood pressure, no diseases, no hypertension, no nothing.
You get into something so deep, because one of my mentors a long time ago said, it's all programming. Like people here, let's say in America, their dream car is a Benz, right? Their dream vehicle is like a Benz or whatever it is, Maserati, you pick a car. And, but you go in Egypt and like their dream vehicle is a camel, right? You go some places in the world and like,
it's all perception. It's all
perception, right?
Perspectives and opinion and what you've been exposed to.
It's like what you've been exposed to.
We're being programmed from the television. This is what you want. This is what being important looks like.
Yes.
This is what happiness looks like right there on that tube. So So we all get that in our heads. Like you feel better about yourself when you're driving a certain car. And I'm guilty of that too.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of that too. I'm in a certain car. I just feel a little different. And I have to tell myself, wait a minute, Lou. Come on, man. You the same person. This car doesn't make you better.
Exactly. I think that's just a good piece for everyone to hear, is that like, I'll never be broke again. Like, I know that I love money. I love having that versus not
Nothing
having
wrong
it
with that.
because of the contrast. Yeah. Like it definitely makes life easier, but I also know the true wealth is right here. So, it's that point of like, you're getting into the hard drive, right? Get into the mindset. And this is where the hypnotherapy comes in, because I don't care how much you've tried to run from something, suppress something, quit something, get away from something, you still have it within your programming. And at some point you're going to be triggered and it's going to come up.
It's going to come out. What's in there. Yes.
And it's going to come out again. You hear this all the time, same crap, different toilet. I mean, you leave one job, you get another guy, you leave one guy, get a girl, you get another one. And you can't. It's
that programming playing over and over, giving you that same record. And and if you really look into it, like you said, Derricka, you're replaying the same scenarios, different people, but they're playing the same parts in your life. And what's the common denominator? You.
And that's like straight up. We all need to hear this right now, because I think everyone's probably going, nodding their heads. Like, it's so true. One of the biggest pivot points, like I love my mom, but I didn't want to be anything like her. Right. There was a lot of things about her. I was like, I'm gonna do it like, you want to be different. Right.
Right.
And I noticed there was something my mom would do. Anytime someone would come over, she would, when they would knock on the door or whatever, she would run around trying to straighten the house up. She would try to clean up everything real quick. And before we open the door, and she would have anxiety, just rush through the house. Right. And I noticed I was doing that.
Right.
And I despise that. But when I had, my own house, I was like, oh, somebody's here, and I rush around cleaning. And that's when I noticed, oh my gosh,
I'm my mom.
We are our paradigms. Apples don't fall too far from the tree. So you have to realize that, no matter how much you might be not conscious of it, you are very alike from what you were seeing and what's around you. So if you want to break that ceiling, you want to pop through and experience abundance like you've never seen, love like you've never seen, you have to reprogram. I'm sorry. You got to get the program.
I got to the point, I can relate to that too. I got to the point where just to be quite honest, I had to put a little bit of distance between my mom and I for a while, so that I could break away from that influence that she had on me, because she hadn't got to the point where she was ready to change from her old mindset. So
of course,
so she had a large influence on me, and I saw a lot of things the way I was thinking, the poverty thinking, the always focusing on problems that came from always talking about complaining and all that came from with no disrespect, but it came from my upbringing, and it wasn't like she was purposely trying to say, look, I'm gonna ingrain some stuff that's gonna ruin your life. She was doing
she knew her
what
best.
She knew what was taught to her, and I'm just thankful that I'm aware. I'm able to be the observer of that now, and so I can make that change.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so now I'm not the person that mine is always focusing on problems. I focus on solutions, and I always look at things that are problems as it. No matter what happens in my life now, it's for my benefit. It's going to help me, propel me in some way. It doesn't matter. So if it looks bad at first, doesn't matter. It's always going to be some light at the end of that tunnel. Okay, darkness right now, that means light's coming. That means I'm learning something right now. What is this teaching me? I never thought that way before.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah. That took work. And, some people listen to that, it takes some time. I like to do it. I like to fast track, and I like to do the hypnosis, because you can work on this. You can work on yourself by yourself for a very long time and get small increments. I don't recommend it. I recommend get a coach for every area of your life.
Right.
And,
There's nothing wrong with that.
Get into the subconscious, because life is about, let's move fast. Let's do what we came here to do, which is to create, to break paradigms, to evolve and make this world a better place. And so it's like, okay, I want to retract this just a little bit.
All right.
You are your environment, because when we talk about moms, when we talk about this, a lot of my clients in the beginning say, whoa, Derricka, hold on. You want me to stop being friends with my best friend that for 20 years, you want me to stop going around my mom. You want me to stop. And it's like, yes. And then hold on, because you do this until you're strong enough. Remember, I told you enlightenment is not for the weak. Right. You do it until you can ground yourself, and it's all love. And you tell your close ones, if they're dragging you down, if they don't have the life you want, if they don't have the things you want in life, you got to take a little break until you can grow yourself big enough to where you can be in their presence and it doesn't affect you.
Doesn't pull you down. Yeah,
exactly. It takes a little bit of time. So, if look, it just is what it is. You are your top 5 friends. I'm talking about, you're a culmination of their income, your relationships, your love life, your everything. You look at your top 5 people, you're an average of them. And so if you want better, you want bigger, I'm sorry, but you got to tell mama and papa and cousins and all them, like, you're about to take a break and you're going to find yourself for a bit. And you come back and you share that with them. So, in the very beginning, yes, take a break. So I just have to say, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. If you want it to be easier, you gotta take yourself out of the triggers.
Right. You do. And what you just said sounds really amazing. You come back and share, but I also have to say this. Sometimes after you ground yourself and you come back and share, doesn't mean they're going to be receptive to it. No. And sometimes you might have to just still take another step back, because I was just listening to a segment today by actually a preacher from the 70s named Reverend Ike. And he said something that stood out to me. He said, you got to tell yourself, if I can't, when you go around people, if I can't help pull you up, I'm definitely not going to let you pull me down. Oh. So that goes for friends, family. So that's another part of transformation that is hard, because you can be isolated from everything that used to be around. You could say, wait a minute, man, this doesn't feel good, because now I'm not this person, especially the titles of the people that they hold around you, mom, this, that. It's like, no, I can't back up away from them. Well, you're going to have to, if you want to change your like you said, paradigm and shift things. You're going to have to. And I'm not telling people to say, hey, mama, get out of my life. I'm not saying that. No. You have to step back and put a little space there so you can work on yourself. And if they care about you, they'll understand. I mean, it might be confusing to them and they might not get it, but you say, I got to do this for me.
I love that you say that. It's taking 100% responsibility. It's no judgment. You're not telling them they're wrong and you're right. You're saying, I want something different, so I've got to do something different. I
got to do something for me.
That's it.
One thing I wanted to ask you, because you're talking about hypnotherapy. Now, obviously, you got to a point where you someone did hypnotherapy on you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. There was a lot of that.
Yeah, you just and you were pleased with the results.
So pleased. It's that's what I'm saying. I'm a big just advocate. I might be biased because this is what I am, but it's the only technology that specializes in a motherboard. It's since the beginning of time, it goes down, and it's just a very deep meditative state. But in that state, you guys want to know how to enter the subconscious, you got to get your brain waves into theta brainwave state. Right. And that was the state that you were born from 0 to about 8, 9 years old. You lived in theta. Theta is pure imagination. And that's a state where you tell a kid anything and they'll believe it's true. It's exactly. We live in an open state to make sense of this world, to realize like how to figure out how to be human and how to live here on this planet. And so we live in theta. So what hypnosis does is brings you right back to theta. And then you get to set intentions and rewire your motherboard and saying, I want to believe money, there's more than enough to go around, right? I want to believe there's so many good people in this world. You just start going from the release of what's holding you back. And you know what it is. You got to know some of those beliefs that is not serving you. You got to release those and then reprogram you. You know, I always like to say, I'm not changing you to something like another person. It's a rewire. It's a reprogram.
Right. To things that better serve you.
That you already had, Luke. Like, think about it. We were born abundant. We were born with no judgment, unconditional love. We had no fears. We loved everyone. We were curious about life. We didn't care if we had food in our teeth. We loved life and we went for it. You were not going to stop us. We fell forward. We would fall down and back up, right?
The influences around us stopped that, suppressed our imagination, started making us self-conscious about things. Oh, whoa, you're naked.
Yep.
This. Oh, and you don't look right. Oh, yeah.
Yep. I like telling my clients that we were only born with two fears: the fear of noise and the fear of falling. Every other fear, Luke, we inherited. Ain't that some bullshit? Like when I think about
it's true. It's true.
The fears that just riddled my life and kept me from, like, stole my dreams. Like, fears steal our dreams and steal our happiness. And all of those are not ours.
Fear and just limited thinking, poverty thinking.
Yes.
Right. Keep you in the same program, and it keeps playing over and over. And then you attract the same things in your life. So now you're attracting more poverty, more toxic people, more this, more that. And like you said, that reprogramming through hypnotherapy can help, will help.
It does
change
help
all that.
It just releases because you're getting into, like, think about if your brain is a computer, you had a virus enter. Well, hypnosis is it's like an antivirus. It's going to get the virus out of the motherboard and then download the software that runs higher, faster, pure, cleaner, right? So you're going to have a much different output. Like, I'm like, you're just a computer, a very spiritual computer, but we got to get in there and rewire those neural pathways and say, you've got things firing off that is stopping you. If you're not happy, like 90%, let's just say 90%, because contrast is necessary. But if you're not mostly happy in life, you're not creating your goals. You don't have all the things that you want. You've got programs that are stopping you, like point blank period, right?
That's it. That's where we got to get to the point, everybody, where we understand that and not deny that. Like, oh, it's this circumstance. No, it's from the inside out, not the outside in.
It's not the government. It's not your dad.
Nope. It's not the government.
Your uncle. It's not the school system. It's none of that shit.
It's all of that stuff. If that's what you believe it is, because that's what you're creating. Like, that's what you think it is. Okay, it is so.
Yeah. Yep. It's true. You know, you can, the saying of whether you believe you can or believe you can, either way, you're right.
You're right.
It's whatever beliefs you have, right? But we're standing here today and saying, let's believe what's actually going to serve you. Put your attention on things that's going to serve you. Stop looking at the victim mode and become a victor. Become the victor in your life.
I like that.
Yes. So that's what I stand for, and if it's okay with you, I would love to give an actual audio to everyone who's watching.
Yes. Just tell us how we can do that, or what link I have to add to this segment once it's closed, or if you have a way for them to get it, you want to tell them right now or whatever. Yeah.
I love this, as we're going like this, and I could just feel people like, I want to do this. I want to try this, and it's definitely, I would love for you to try this out. I have a very popular I have a lot of tracks, hundreds of them, but I have one that's called Become the New You. And I'm just really feeling that's what I'm picking up right now, that we are shedding old chapters. We're getting rid of just those paradigms, the things that have been keeping us in that stuck, keeping us there. And like 2020, let's go. Let's really do what we came here to do. Like, let's create, babe. Like, let's go. Right. Yeah. So to Become the New You, I'll give you a link. I just thought of this, you guys, but I'm going to give Lou a link. If you could drop it wherever this is going. And the code will be New You. New You will be the code. And if we can put that somewhere.
Yes, it'll be in the description of this I'm just letting everybody know what Derricka is talking about. It will be in the description of the video. So when you go on YouTube to look at the video, click in the description and the link will be in there along with the rest of her links to get a hold of her and to, check out all her websites and social media platforms or whatever she has decided to share with me to put on there. So yes,
let's go.
absolutely.
Let's do this.
Yes.
100% free. Let's just go, you guys. It's time for us to step into our power.
Right.
Let's stepping into our power. We are 100% leaders of our life. We are responsible for it all. And it's time to take that control back. And it only starts right here.
Starts right there. Well, thank you, Derricka. I appreciate you. This time just flew by. Almost an hour flew by so fast because our conversation was flowing. I told you. I told you that before it happened. Once I just dropped that little drop of water, I knew it was going to turn into an ocean fast. I knew it.
Yeah, I did. And it's all the energy that is going to be watching here. We're just picking it up. We're vibing. I would love to see your comments on Luke's page. I'll definitely check him out. I love his work. I'm loving his guests. I love his intention that he's pouring out, making a major difference. Love it.
Thank you very much. And I appreciate your energy. And I appreciate your thought current, just everything in the elevated conscious conversation that we're having. That right there is just medicine and food for my mind and for my spirit. It's just amazing. And just everybody that watches, the same thing. Just wow. Thank you very much. Before I conclude this segment, is there any last thing that you would like to say?
We said a lot here tonight. I think we said a lot here, and I just want to tell everyone that's watching that that you really came here to be, do, or have anything and everything that you desire. If you are thinking it's your job, and it's time for you to do it. You deserve the best of the best. You're a game changer. You came here to evolve, and let's just stand in our powers, become captain of our mindset, and it's yours. So just never give up and keep going forward. And I just love being here, connecting with you, connecting with this community. I'm here for any questions, and let's go.
Thank you very much, Derricka. And I want to say congratulations to you on would you say little person number 5 is happening? Wow. You can have your own football team. Wow. Now, do you know the gender yet?
I always do a surprise, but I call it every time. So I know I'm having a little girl.
A little girl. Wow. Yeah. So how many little girls do you already have?
I have 3 boys, and then I've got 1 girl. So this will be number 2.
Okay. Yeah. Evening up the odds. Okay. Wow. Amazing. And may your family continue to grow and prosper and just everything. And you can just tell by just your appearance, the look on you, the way you radiate. It's just things are unfolding amazingly for you. And like you said, our past is gone, but just to give us a little look on the contrast and where you are, it lets everybody know that it doesn't matter you start or wherever that right there is just meant to propel you to greater heights. So, wow. Yeah. Look her up so she can help you to reprogram some of those things that are not serving you right in your mind, that you just can't do it yourself. So yes, do that. And the free link's going to be in the description of the video. Again, click on that link and get your life started changing. Connect with that inner peace, that happiness. Eradicate some of them things out of your mind. Thank you very much.
Let's do it.
And enlighten, empower, evolve. Let's do it. Let's go. See you soon. Love you.